pan today. I'm so excited. I feel like a Pointer Sister. Was it the Pointer Sisters? I think it was. Anyway, we have Holiday 2025 Chanel. Hasn't hit all boutiques yet, but it has hit some, including the one in King of Prussia, New Jersey, which is nowhere near where I live, but where my account advisor lives, and she was able to land me the holiday collection. Now, the holiday collection is in two parts this year. There's the more traditional holiday collection that has an eyeshadow quad, some nail polishes, mascara, blushes, etc. That's the blue one, really beautiful. I have that. That may have to be a separate video because the other part, the part nobody saw coming, were the 9-pan collections from Chanel. These are high intensity, unlike any Chanel formula I've ever tried before. So pigmented, so sparkly, and there are 3 of them. So if that sounds good to you, to go in and do a deep dive on these today and look at some looks and make my eyelids raw from trying on so many shadows, then please like, subscribe, share, shop my links, because you know I'm going to need it after buying Chanel and all that goodness. I'm going to put on a base and I'm going to come right back. Okay. I know I look a little bit like Casper the Ghost, but that's because I didn't do any bronzer, any contour, nothing like that. I might do it with the final look, but I wanted the shadows to appear to be the star and for nothing else to interfere, because these shadows are so good. I don't know why they've been holding back on their formula, because this is spectacular. So yeah, I might throw on some bronzer and all that at the end, but I just threw on some foundation, actually just a skin tint. It's the Chanel Touch Water Fresh Tint. So that's on, and let's begin. So like I said, they came out with their standard holiday collection. It's got lipsticks, it's got nail polishes, it centers around 2 blushes and a new shadow palette. Now that is the Nuit Astral palette, and I have it right here. And it is a beautiful blue and gray, and there's a little bit of purple palette, very unique for Chanel. I will put the video up in the corner here of unboxing this before my fingers made it to where it's not so pretty. And I'll probably do that in a separate video because that collection also included the blushes. This is the Les Signes de Chanel, and I have mine in peach. So there's a peach and a pink, and I have mine in peach. It's 2 shades of peach with a white kind of highlighter in the middle. It has a sparkly overspray, but once you get past the overspray, it's a pretty standard kind of lightly glowy blush. And then there's also a mascara, and this is in the color Anthracite, and it's part of the Noir Allure mascara collection. So that's the standard Chanel that came out. Very exciting, very beautiful. We knew that was coming. We also were hinted some blush palettes that I guess they're not going to come for the holidays, but that's okay, because last week on Sunday, it started to get circulated that there were 9 pans coming from Chanel, and I contacted my advisor and she said, it's true, and we have a few. You want them? So there are 3 of them. So this is going to be like old school Pat McGrath holiday collection today of trying on a freakish amount of shadows that all came out at the same time, because that means there's 27 shadows here. Now, I can't show them all to you. I'll probably do like 3 or 4 looks, one palette with each of them because they're so beautiful, but I'll try to show you as much as I can today. So there are 3, as I said. The first one is called the New Singular, and this is the one that I was a little apprehensive about because the colors in it were a little strange to me. And then once I swatched it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So there are glowy duochromes. There's a sparkly purple. There's a really sparkly, intensely sparkly kind of yellow green. And then a lot of these like 70s mustard colors. and there's pinks and browns. This is a really cool palette. It reminds me of sort of like modern art. So that one is called the New Singular. The second one is called the Daring Muse. And it's the one I bet that's going to sell like gangbusters for the holidays because it's mostly royal colors. So you've got some deep blues, greens, reds, golds, a couple of really cool toppers, a silver. This is going to be gangbusters for the holidays, I think, because it's those royal, deep, saturated colors that people love to wear at the holidays. The final one is the one that I was most excited about, at least initially, and it's the one called the Space Traveler. This is pretty spectacular. There are duochromes, there's multichromes, there's high shine, sparkles, and this one is supposed to resemble like a space theme and really, really beautiful. So I figure what we'll do today is maybe do a look with each palette, maybe two looks, just to show you what you can achieve and try to show off as many colors as possible. I probably won't finish all the looks as far as like mascara and liner and all that because I'm going to wipe it off. My eyes will be raw and I'll show you some more, but I want to get this out as soon as possible so you can determine which is best for you. So let's start with the palette called the Daring Muse. Now this one is, like I said, very holiday friendly. And so what I'm going to do is bring you in a little closer. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Because this is going to be a holiday look and it's going to be eye-centric focus, the video. So I don't have any primer on my eyes because I don't need it to last and I want it to come off as soon as possible so that I can switch to one of the other palettes and show you as much as I can. So there are only two mattes in this palette. There is a red and a kind of tan color. There's a couple of metallics and then there's kind of one or two kind of crazy toppers. So what I'm going to do is grab the kind of caramely brown color, and this is on a EYESHADOW 2, and just put this in my crease. If you can't tell right off the bat, these are not like a standard Chanel quad. Even the Chanel quad that's part of the holiday collection this year, it's very beautiful, but it too requires a lot of buildup. These are intense from the minute they go on, very much like a Pat McGrath, something like that. Some Natasha Denona's. It's just something about this formula, but they put on the packaging that this is an intense formula. So they're telling you right off the bat that that was the goal of these three. The other matte in here is this kind of burgundy color. So I'm going to go in, actually it's not really burgundy. It's pretty primary red, maybe a little bit brick red. I'm going to go in with that. And while I've got my brush, let me wipe it off and just stick a little bit of this brown under the lower lash. Now, obviously, these blend like a dream, and you could really blend them out if you wanted to create something super diffused. I'll do a little of that right in here, but my goal today is just to show you the colors. It's not to create looks that are, you know, the most beautiful things in the world. But you can see there, it did diffuse really nicely. So we have options here. We have a duochrome up here. We have a standard gold. We have greens and blues, silver, regular gold, a multi-chrome. I mean, it's crazy. So I think what I'm going to do is do this one with this top duochrome-y kind of gold color. And so I'm going to put this on the bulk of the lid. And this is a gold with pink sparkles. And you can see right off the bat, this is opaque. These are, I'm really impressed. I don't know. I mean, this really did come as a shock, I think, to the industry on Sunday when these photos started leaking. And they started leaking from Europe and Asia, and then for me to get that message from my advisor was really cool. So that is a beautiful color. I'm going to go in with this light gold that's on the bottom here, and I'm going to go on the inner third with that. And you can see that's a much lighter gold. And it doesn't, this one is just a metallic. It doesn't have any kind of duochrome features. Beautiful. Then there's this holographic kind of blue. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the blue highlighter that came out 2 springs ago, the Ocean highlighter. A lot of people didn't like it because it was very glittery, but in this formula, of course, it works really well. And I'm going to put that on the inner corner. And you know what? Let's just take a little of it and put it on the center, just to add some sparkle. Beautiful. Okay, let's go to the other eye because I want to try to show off as much as I can. So this one's going to have to be in the green, blue, silver family. So I'm going to go in again. There's only 2 mattes in here, but there are some satins that would blend out just fine. But I'm going to grab that brown color and just place it on this outer corner here. Because I'm going to try to diffuse this green color. So let me grab a rougher brush, and I want this to be kind of more of a wash of this green color. So I'm going to grab the green metallic that's in the center. That is crazy. Like, what Chanel is this? This is apparently part of their collective series where the 3 makeup designers have come up with this, and they each have one of these palettes, I believe. Could be wrong. I'm going to take this same brush and take the navy color and put it on the outer portion here. I'm not getting a ton of fallout with these. They almost feel baked. They're quite dry in the pan, but not in a bad way. And I'll go ahead and grab some of that blue and run it under. Again, not perfect, just showing you what's in the palette. What haven't we used? Well, we haven't used the black, so let me go ahead and grab a little of the black. It's a sparkly black. So I'm just going to grab a little of it just to show off the color and run it down here. Wet, this would be a beautiful liner. And then we haven't used the bright silver. I'm going to grab that on my finger and do that on this inner portion. And kind of merge it with that green. I could do the silver on the inner corner, or I can do that kind of holographic blue, and I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to take a little bit of that holographic blue on my finger and just place it in the center here. I hope you can see how like freakishly stunning that is. And you can imagine with like a Pat McGrath Intensify wand, I could get that to be crazy. So 2 completely different looks here. Just showing you the colors. I'm not going to clean them up because I'm just about to take a wipe and wipe them off to show you the next palette. But it gives you an idea of what is in the Daring Muse 847. Okay, I'm going to wipe these off and then we're going to move on to the next palette. Okay, see you in a few. Bye. Okay, don't judge my eyes because they're already starting to look red, and a 44-year-old is going to great depths to show you these shadows today, and I will probably be in great pain tomorrow when I'm at my day job, but it's okay. I've wiped off the first palette, loved it. We're going to move on to the second. Before I go any further, I do need to let you know just the basics. These are made in France. They say they have an 18-month shelf life. I don't buy that. And they do come with 2 small brushes, and the shadows that are in here are each numbered 1 to 9, but I normally have just been calling them out to you as the color they are because they're mostly primaries in here. And I believe they retail for $155, so it's actually a little bit cheaper than if you had bought 2 of the regular couture palettes from them. So we looked at Daring Muse, so let's take a minute and look at the new Singular. Now this is the one when I was looking online and I was like, I don't know. And now the more I have looked at it and after swatching it, I'm very excited about this palette. So this one has, it appears to be 3, does it have 3? Yes, I think it has 3 metallics. Well, it has 1 metallic. It looks like maybe 2 duochromes that are very glittery, and then everything else is pretty much a matte in this one. So the duochromes that are in here and the 1 purple metallic are kind of the star of the show. But you could obviously do a beautiful matte look if you just want it. Matte look. Is that show with Kathy Bates? No, that's matte look. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go into this lightest green color here, and this is on a 13 Max. Oh, let's bring you in. I almost forgot the purpose of this here video. You can see bright color right off the bat. And if I used an intensify wand, this would be crazy. But I want to be able to get it off because as you can see, I already have redness. I'll do more detailed looks with these later. I just really wanted to show you as many colors as possible so you could decide, because I have a feeling when these hit the market, they're going to sell very fast. And I'm going to grab a little bit of that kind of, I don't know, pastel green that's on the bottom and run it along the bottom here. I guess this would be, if you were following along with the chart on the back, shade 8. Lovely. Okay, so what do we want to do? Well, let's go in and, you know, we want to try as many colors as possible. So I don't know if they're all going to work, but we'll do what we can. So let's go in on this one with shade number 5. It's this salmon color in the middle. Also a matte. Same brush, I just keep wiping it off between colors. You could do a really good all matte look with just these 2 colors. You could use this brown here, or if you wanted this purple with a liner brush and a little bit of water, and get a simple but really graphic look out of it. Okay, so we did that. What do we want to do? I think we have no choice. We're going to have to do this neon green multi-chrome. This is shade number 6. And I'm just going to place it on the eye. Now, obviously, like I said, if I had used a glitter glue or a Pat McGrath, this would be much more intense, but it's not the goal of today. This would be really good for like spring. Okay, and then this one has a duochrome itself in here. This one's a white to pink duochrome. Chanel's had something similar to that in one of their other palettes, but I can't remember quite which one. But I'm going to put that here just to show you what it looks like. It's really nice. You know what? I'm going to grab one of these liner brushes and a little bit of water. Actually, this isn't a liner brush. This is just a 21. It's my favorite repper brush. Just to show you what one of the other colors would look like. And I'm going to go ahead. What would look better with this? I don't think black. I'm going to grab this brown here, which is shade number 4. Just to show you what they look like wet. Don't judge my work here. Just showing you that these can make a beautiful liner too. And luckily with this palette, there's a black in here, or kind of a charcoal, shade number 9. That would work beautiful as well. Let's grab a little bit of that duochrome shade and just put it in the center and tap it, because I want that scattered look. Pretty good. Now, obviously, I would take a blending brush and blend out the edges and do liner and lashes, and you can imagine how interesting this could look. But for right now, just trying to show off the colors. Okay, so we need to do something more dramatic on the other side. And I think let's lean in full 1970s. So I'm going to go into this color, which is number 7. I would call this a pumpkin. It's as true a pumpkin as I've seen. So much pigment. A little bit of powdery on the mattes, but certainly manageable. And place this on a fluffy brush. You can see this would be gorgeous for the fall. Matching it with this brown and this black. Really nice. But we want to lean full 70s here. These are performing really well. Chanel came out last fall with 2 all matte palettes. It was part of that like tarot card collection, and I found those to be a little challenging to use. They were a little patchy. These do not appear to be that way. I'm going to grab a 14 mini and this avocado color, number 2. And place it. You could see between this, the brown, and the pumpkin, you could have a really interesting matte only look here if you wanted. There's something about this that reads very like 70s contemporary art. I've created a base there. I am going to grab a little bit more of that avocado color and just run it under here. That's nice. Okay. What do we want to do on the lid itself, the lid proper? Can I get away with the purple? I think that's going to be really, it could be really hideous, but it's the other metallic in here, and we do need to see what it looks like. So let's grab number 1, which is a metallic deep purple. This would be a good like grungy palette too. There's so many options in these palettes that you could easily do a 5 looks 1 palette with each of these. I mean, think about it. There are as many shades in here as almost as many as that's in a mothership. And if you take away the eye corner shade that's in every mothership, it's the same amount. And these are highly curated. So this is a real interesting choice they've done here. Do I think this is an attractive look? Probably not. But do I think it at least gives you an idea of how beautiful that purple and that green and that pumpkin are? Yeah. Is it going to be my new cover photo on Instagram? Probably not. Okay. There's a black here that I can just put a little water on the brush and use as a liner. Just to show you. And it's not a black black. It's kind of a little bit softer. A charcoal maybe. Again, please don't judge me. I just want to show you every color that's in here so you can see how they work. Okay, can we do that hideous green? Let's do it. Let's do this green multi-chrome color. Okay, that actually works. Like this is a 70s. And kind of put a little of it over that purple. That should not work. But if done properly, I think this look could work with liner and lashes and all. I think it could work. It needs to be cleaned up a lot. But it's giving you an idea. And then, you know, I'm going to stick with that limey green. I could go in with that pink, but I think that would be too much. And just put that on this inner corner. And it certainly works. Okay. 2 crazy looks here. But at least it shows you the variety you can get here. And I really do feel with more time, patience, and proper liner, lashes, all that, these could look really cool. You probably want to like color block this palette a little bit more and not over blend it, but at least you got to see the 9 colors. So I'm going to wipe this off and we're going to come back, and with the final palette, I think we'll do a full look and see how that would turn out. So I'll be right back. Okay, bye. But anyway, okay, last palette. The one I was probably the most excited for, and I think it's gonna sell really well, Space Traveler. This is $8.49, so I think it's $47, $48, $49. But this one has some kind of basic browns, orangey, kind of salmony color mattes. There is a deep black, but this is actually not a matte. It's got some sparkle in it. Nope, it's a matte. Sorry. This is a duochrome. This is a duochrome. These 3 are duochromes. So this is very unique. And then this is just a really bold, shifty blue. So I think this is really unique for Chanel. Actually, all these color stories are really unique for Chanel. Okay. Let's start again. And this time I'm going to be a little more careful because I want to create 2 looks that are just, you know, things I would actually wear and aren't going to take a lot. So I'm going to grab, it looks like shadow number 4, which is this mid-toned salmon color. It's a little bit cross between a salmon and a terracotta. And I'm just going to use, this is a Shadow 4, and create a wash of this in my crease. That's a really pretty color. Maybe kind of like a smoky apricot color. You know, Chanel doesn't name their colors. They just give us numbers. So I guess that's good in a way. We get to make up our own names. I'm going to call this... Oh, I'm going to call this Bring Y'all In so y'all can see. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to call this, I don't know, Apricot Dreams. I don't know. I'm so fucking tired. Okay. Gorgeous. And there's also kind of a mid-toned brown down here. I'm going to go ahead and put some of that in the inner corner. Just a little bit. I want the star of this show to be metallics, so just a little bit of depth. Who is calling me? I do not understand that. I've got to the point now where I've had to do that thing on my phone where it asks you what is your name and what is your purpose, because I get so many spam calls. Is anybody else like that? And I promise I'm not that interesting. I don't know why they're calling me. They're always calling for like Josefina too. I don't know who Josefina is. Okay. There are two goldy duochromes in here. This one up here is a gold with green and red specks, and this down here is kind of like a peach with gold specks. I don't know that the two of those would go together very well. But it doesn't matter, right? We're showing off colors today. So I'm going to grab the goldy green color, number 1, for those of you following it at home. Ooh, that is a gorgeous color. Like right off the bat. Holy crap. That's so pretty. I'm going to put that on the lid. What is Chanel with your little duochromes? Y'all are not playing this holiday season. Oh my goodness. I would intensify this if I was going out with the pack stick. That would be crazy. Let's go a little bit more in with this mid-toned brown. There's also a black in this palette if I really wanted to deepen it up. But I'm not going to do that. Wow. That is beautiful. I'm gonna grab a little water. I'm gonna put that on with just a little bit of water so you can totally see how intense this color is. On my wrinkly old lids. Although this is not really emphasizing a lot of texture. That's the nice thing about these Chanel shadows. They almost feel baked. I don't know. Okay, inner corner. Well, I feel like we have to go with the kind of orangey gold color. So for those of you following at home, this would be number 8. Okay, I thought those might not work together, and they probably don't. But for the purposes of this, I do think with like a proper liner and all, this could work. That's really cool. Let me grab a little bit more of that kind of greeny color. I would say that is a star so far. That number 1 from this palette. That's beautiful. We'll stick a liner with that in a minute. But let's go ahead and look at the other side. So we need to create a wash on this one because this has got to be obviously very blue. So I think what I'm going to do, this is tricky because there are 5 colors in here that work really well together, just like these 4 work well together. What would be really interesting, and if I do get to do 5 looks on palette, would be to blend the 2, the warms and the cools. I think you could get something really cool and spacey. But for this, I want to see, oh, this could be bad. I'm going to grab some of the black. Oh, tap it off. I want to see if I can get a wash. Okay, this is not crazy. Right off the bat, I can get a gentle wash of this black. Okay, I'm impressed by that. I was afraid that this would be formulated in a way like, you know, first 3 motherships of Pat McGrath black, where you have to be so careful. This is softer. Now, obviously with water, I could build it up. but this is softer. Yeah. Okay. We've got a little bit of a shape there. So what I'm going to do is grab the blue here, the darker, the navy one. This would be shade number 6. Beautiful shade. That is beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Let's go ahead and fully embrace the blue. So I'm going to wet my 21 again. And I'm going to grab number 5, the middle shade, the crazy blue. This palette color is everywhere right now. It's in that Vuitton palette. It's in the new Pat Holiday, which is coming later this week. Oh my goodness. This is not your mother's Chanel. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. I have these books I got online that got really good reviews on how to enhance your YouTube and Instagram and all that. If y'all have any suggestions, please give it to me, because, you know, it's been really hard to even, and I love y'all for it, but it's been really hard to even get the followers that I have. I don't think as many people honestly follow men who do beauty. I think it probably makes some people uncomfortable. Well, we learned to make some people uncomfortable when I did the Louis Vuitton video. Watch that short if you haven't yet. Okay, there's a duochrome up here, number 2, that is a purple and blue and silver and pink duochrome, somewhat reminiscent of Mothership 1 from Pat McGrath. And I'm going to grab that on a wet 21. Holy shit. Chanel, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that super dark blue, number 6, and define this corner a little bit more. And carve it out. Wowza. Crazy. Okay, the final color in this, what do you call it? Ninth? I don't know, whatever, is this super shifty white with blue and pink sparkles. So I'm going to grab that for the inner corner. Oh, that is bold. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that. I wasn't expecting that to be so pigmented. Wow. Run a little of that under the... This is crazy. Grab a little bit more of the black. And then I want to grab a little bit of the blue, number 5, and run it down here, just to connect the two so it's not quite so harsh down here. You could have some real crazy fun with this palette. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little of that white, but I'm not swirling, I'm just tapping because I just want a really diffused amount of product. Are y'all seeing that? Holy hell. Well, let's go ahead and liner and lash this up. So I'm going to go ahead and stick some bronzer contour on. We'll come back, liner and lash. I'll give you some final thoughts. We'll try the new blush, why not, and the new mascara, at least on this eye. It won't go with this one. And we'll wrap it up. Okay, bye. Okay, so I put on a little bit of concealer. I did a lighter color than I normally would do because I really wanted these to pop, and I put on a little contour. So this is my SUBLIMAGE concealer from Chanel and my Le Beige bronzer from Chanel, just a little bit. So what I wanted to do now is at least show you the new blush. It's actually part of the other holiday collection, the traditional holiday collection from Chanel, but I thought, why not? And I'll do another video later this week or next week with the blue, what's it called? So pretty. The Nuit Estrelle quad. But let me grab a little of this. And like I said, after this is an overspray, the glitter that's on here. So I'm just gonna mix the three together. There are subtle differences in the top and bottom shade, but I'm gonna mix the two together. And in the middle is a very subtle light highlighter. This also came in a pink, but I liked the peach a lot. And of course, you know, I have a lot of pink highlighters. This is not a very bold blush. It's mild, but it's very pretty. I kind of wish for the holidays, I can't complain. This is a gorgeous collection, but I kind of wish for the holidays, if I had my way, that they would have done a limited edition color of the cream to powder blush. I love that formula. And maybe a limited edition couple of the lipsticks that have the liquid lipsticks that have the clear gloss on one side and the color on the other. I love those so much. I kind of wish that they would have maybe done that, but I can't complain. That's it's got a nice light sheen. And you know, for the highlighter, I could go grab something from Chanel, but I'm just gonna try to grab just the white part. And it is kind of a subtle highlighting shade. This would be good as a subtle highlighter or under the brow, which I didn't put anything under this brow, so we can see here. It does work well in that capacity too. It's actually really quite nice at defining. Okay, so let's finish these looks out. Obviously, they're going to have two different products because one's kind of a more goldy green look, one's blue. So on the goldy green look, I'm going to grab Lisa Eldridge Burnt Umber. I'm sure I had a Chanel liner that could have done this, but I want to get this video out, and that would have required some digging in the liner drawer, and it is like the apocalypse in there. On this over here, I have one of the new Valentino liners. This is in deep blue. This is the darkest, deepest blue. They came out with a series of blue liners this year. I'm telling you, for the holidays, blue seems to be where it's at. I'm going to stick some of this in the waterline. This is a really blacky blue almost, but it is metallic. And I love the Valentino liners. A little bit of a wing there, nothing too exciting. Okay, and eyelashes. Oh, let's curl these up. And let's do the new. It'll go with the blue quad, but it'll go with this as well. And this is the Anthracite. Is it called Anthracite? Anthracite. Oh, I know. I always had trouble with that word. But it's a dark blue purple color. This is not my favorite mascara formula, but it is a lovely mascara formula for colored mascara. This is a pretty color though. I can tell looking, you may not be able to, but that it is like a slatey blue gray with a little purple. You know, for this one, let's do something a little crazy. Okay, this may look nutty, but I see the green sparkles in here, and I think something that could go really well. Obviously, you could use a brown, like YSL Brown or Lisa Eldridge Burnt Umber for the lashes, but I'm going to grab the new YSL, and it is in the green color, the forest green. And I saw they have a burnt red color coming as well. This really is probably my all-time favorite mascara. And the blue version of it actually would have probably been a little too bright for this. So I'm glad I went with that. Even though it's supposed to go really more with the quad. I can't wait to try that for y'all. I think this collection's going to sell really well for Chanel. I think that middle 9-pan, the more artistic one that's got the mattes in it, what's it called? That's more heavy on the mattes. The new Singular, I think that this one is going to be the one that scares people off the most because it is tricky. However, it's gorgeous if you can take the time to figure it out. These are stunning. I am so impressed. I'll throw on a gloss and throw in some pictures at the end, but I'm so impressed with these. I think you would be really pleased with any of the three. I think they'd make great gifts. So if you've enjoyed today, please like, subscribe, follow along, tell your friends, share it, tell your neighbors, tell everybody you can. And follow along on Instagram and on YouTube. Unsolicited Advice, shop the links, and have a great day. I hope this helped out. This is a gorgeous collection. Bye.